What is up, everybody? And it's finally time to make a thread on a video. My most asked content is not my gameplay, nothing about what I do in the game, but it's about my interface. So I need to make another video, apparently. So we're gonna walk through all of the add-ons that I got and what's kind of going on with them, and then I'll briefly touch on the WeakAuras. Like I'll have most of the links to the WeakAuras in my Twitch chat, and I'll tell you what it is. But I honestly can't even give you the links for a lot of them. I just made them up and they're like garbage, like kind of like mishmash, I should say. But let's get right into it. So first one here, we have advanced interface options. The only thing I've ever used advanced interface options for was to make nameplates a little bit bigger. Okay, here you go to CVAR browser, you type in nameplates, and I think I made nameplates just like 1.1 or something like that. To be honest, I don't even know what I did. You can look at my stuff here. If it doesn't match up with yours, you want to change it, there you go. So advanced interface options, first one on the board. Next one here, I'm gonna try to go through these a little quick because there's a couple of them. Auto turn is just an auto turn in quest thing. Battleground enemies, don't really do battlegrounds, but if you do want to do that, that's like just one that just shows all the enemies over on the side. If you do battlegrounds, going into Battleground Blitz into War Within, if that is something that interests you, I would definitely recommend getting that. Here, I can actually just show you really quick. Toggle test mode. It's not working. Okay, well, I'm sure you've seen that one before. BetterBlizz frames and BetterBlizzPlates. BetterBlizzPlates is the one that really matters. I don't think I use BetterBlizz frames. What that does is, if you've seen in the arena games, where it'll show the spec on top of the nameplate instead of their name, or if it even shows their name, but instead of saying PvP train dummy, it'll say resto. The reason I got that is because it's helpful if there's two druids on the enemy team, one's resto, one's feral, or one's balance. It's easy to see which one's which. So that's the reason I got that one. Next up, so it's really helpful to have that. BigDebuffs is a super important add-on for literally anybody. So what that does is, if you have your frames here, and if your teammate's in polymorph, it'll show a big polymorph on the side there. And as a healer, specifically a Resto Druid, it's really important to have this because there is a setting right here called increased maximum buffs. So what that's going to do is going to allow you to see more buffs, so you're able to see everything on the side at once. So that's big important. But BigDebuffs is important for either healer or DPS, because you could just see big CCs over here onto your, whether it's on your healer or on your teammate, that to dispel. Moving on. Bug Grab or Bug Sack, I just downloaded both of these because they kind of capture any of the errors that pop up, and yeah, like you don't have to worry about any of like the pop-up things and whatnot. So that's why I have that. Capping and is just an add-on for battleground timers. So like when you cap a base, how long until it turns over. So that's just what that is. I'm not a big BG person, just I've had these for years. ClassicCastBars. So ClassicCastBars are nice because it shows your teammates casting. So when my teammate casts, so like if I have, let's say this is my teammate, he's a Resto Druid, if he's casting Cyclone or casting Regrowth, it'll show a little regrowth bar here. And it's nice, especially for me when I'm playing with CC classes, so I can play with a mage, for example, and I want to know when he's polymorphing. I can see his polymorph cast, and so I don't overlap it with a Cyclone or something like that. So that's the main reason I have that. Go on to the next one here, ClassicNumbers. ClassicNumbers is just the one that I have that it shows them the numbers the way they do. So it has like the colors, so like nature is green, arcane's purple, fire is red, holy's yellow, such like that, and it shows the numbers kind of big. You can animate it a little bit more too, like I have the crits are bigger, you can put sounds to it, you can kind of do a bunch of stuff with it, but that is it. The only settings I think I messed with on that is the colors. ClassicNumbers, I did use common to separate schools and damage colors. That's all I did on that. You can make the size bigger, you can make the crits look bigger, you can add sounds and whatnot on there. All right, next one here, we got DejaCharacterStats. So what that does is that it kind of blows up your stat menu a bit more. So I can see like what I really like it for is global cooldown. You can see the global cooldown change when you're messing with haste levels specifically. You can kind of see what happens with it. So like, for example, here I go out, I'm gonna gain a little bit of haste here, and you'll see the global cooldown change accordingly. So 60% haste, got about 0.07 on the global. If you are pushing high haste levels, I think once you pass like one is the max global, don't really do it anymore. So, and it shows like movement speed. Yeah. Okay, next one here, we got DejaMicroFader. What that does is actually hides my bars here, and it hides the bag as well, I believe, just to make the UI look a little bit cleaner. So that's all it does. Details, obviously details meters here. Didn't really do anything to them. You can add extra windows by create window. You can mess with anything in the options. I don't think I really messed with that at all though, to be honest. Okay, next one, Diminish. Diminish is the add-on that you'll see DRs above my nameplates up here. So if I test it, I'll go test mode. Oh geez. So it'll show DRs. So like this is DRs on me. I can see when I'm coming off of the stun DR. This is important because stun DRs, especially a version like Rogues, they're waiting for that stun DR to end to go again. So if I know if I'm on DR, I can kind of play more freely. When it comes off, you know. And if someone wants a DR a fear on me, I let them, or a poly, maybe I'll run into ring on purpose because I'm still on DR, stuff like that. Okay, next one we got Drusvar. I don't use this add-on anymore. Really don't need that there. I don't think it's been updated. Enhanced raid frames. The only thing I've done with the enhanced raid frames is made my raid frames 20% larger. So enhanced raid frames, I just changed the scale from 100% to 120. I just like a little bit of a bulkier frame. Personal preference. FrameSort just puts you on top as the healer, or you as the player on top. I believe it's really nice to have as a healer because you're having like a party keybind for your party 1 and party 2. So it's just really convenient to have yourself on top, and also just psychologically you're used to having your person instead of being switched around which one's you. Yep, FriendListColors just adds colors to your friends list. So whatever class color they are, I really like this. Just see what people are on, what character they're playing and whatnot. Kind of nice. All right, next one here, Gladiator Shuffle Win Tracker. You don't need this at all. I think it's been implemented to the achievement, but it wasn't working in the achievement tab like last expansion. So I want to show. So it just shows like tracks your Glad wins or your Shuffle wins for Shuffle Legend. Just the easy way. It basically just puts in a command that you could put in by yourself. Handy notes. I don't use this anymore. This was just for leveling, to find like the glyphs and stuff. I'm worth nothing. Jax CastBars. I don't think this works anymore. Pretty sure. This was what I used ClassicCastBars for. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this doesn't work anymore. I don't want to get rid of it just for right now, but I'm pretty sure that's what I used to do, was show the cast bars. But I think it will stop working and I used the classic one. JaxSurrender is just when you type AFK in an arena, it makes it surrender. Literally, it says what it does there. Nice. Latrix Plus. I know this has a shit ton of stuff, but I honestly don't even know what I use this for. Couldn't even tell you. Sorry. LFG RNG. This is just what I use to roll for people in my LFG group, so I can just RNG roll it. Lockout, this is like a fake casting interrupt add-on. I don't really use it. I thought it was a cool idea, but then ended up not really using it. Basically what it does is like on my cast bar here, let's say a guy kicks me right there, it'll show a little line of like a Death Knight icon, and like that's where he kicked me last. So some people do have really consistent kicking, like at lower rating. Typically people kick at the same time or it's sporadically. But against good players, it's usually pretty different and it's not that helpful. It could help sometimes, but it's just an add-on I thought was pretty cool. It ended up not really using it much. NameplateBuffs, this is a really important one. This is the one that shows all the buffs on top of the teammates. So all these things here, I think it's super important for me. I honestly like can't play the game without it. I put this on the beta and everything like that. So it shows all your dots, but it'll show, not only that, it'll show, it's the old fly plate buffs if you remember that. It'll show big cooldowns. So like if the guy pops Avatar or Warrior, it'll show a big Avatar icon. And you can add anything you'd like into it. So if I go to plus here, specific spells, I'm not gonna lie, I may have added a couple spells in here, but I don't really know what I added, and I don't have a profile set up because last time I did this, I reset everything, and I don't want to do that, unfortunately. But like as you're looking for things, you realize you start learning cooldowns. You can add anything in. Just what you do is you go to Wowhead, You type in the spell, so avatar, for example. Click on the spell that you want to add in. It could be just a buff, could be a debuff. You take the spell ID up here in the URL, copy that, paste it there, hit enter, boom, it's in. You can change the scale, the font size, the duration, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know what I did. The only thing I know, okay, one thing I did do is I added every big CC I made it larger. So I made them all set to scale too. So like cyclones to polymorphs to, some of them are smaller, like looks like cheap shot's a little bit smaller. I could probably make that a little bit bigger. But like the big CCs, so like fear, poly, clone, yeah, stuff like that. You can kind of mess with it. When tree of life, life balloon I added just to see on the enemy team, to see like which out of the 3 players on the team who doesn't have blooms. That's kind of helpful. Just look at is there anything else I can think of. I think that's kind of about what I added. I'm sure I added something in there. Maybe Sleepwalk was in there, not in there. I don't know if it was or not. But you can add whatever you like. You can add offensive cooldowns, defensive cooldowns, CCs, whatever you think is important, you can add on there. Kind of nice, really nice add-on to have. Okay, moving on to the next one here. We got Narcissus. So Narcissus is a pretty cool add-on. I originally just got it as like a AFK screen for when I'm on stream. It's kind of like a cool little visual here. But it does a lot of stuff that I don't even use it for. It has this whole camera feature. So if I get rid of my cam for a second, you can take screenshots. People use, this is the add-on people use for like thumbnails, for YouTube videos. You can mess around with it. But it actually does a couple other things that are really nice to have. For one, it does show just tier sets here, which is not really that important. But when you inspect somebody, this is probably the coolest part about it. When you inspect somebody, it shows their talent tree right here. So you don't have to actually open it up. So it's a nice little compacted tree here. You can also like copy, like sometimes people like, oh, you're playing with this marksman hunter, what's his talents? You can actually export his talents from inspecting them, which is pretty cool to do. It's also really useful in Mop Remix. If you do use Mop Remix, it shows like your threads of fate on there. So yeah, cool add-on. Moving on to the next, we got Omnibar. So Omnibar, what that does is shows all your interrupts on there. People ask for my Omnibar loadout. Man, I don't even think you should take mine. Mine is so bloated. I need to fix it at some point. But one thing I do recommend doing with Omnibar is separating cooldowns from interrupts. So that's what I did. So one of my Omnibars has solely just interrupts. So like mind freeze, all that kind of stuff. So just the interrupts. And then I made it a second bar and put it, in a different spot. So it looks like, where do I have mine? I have my cooldown one lower, and then the kicks are up a little bit higher there. So I think that's really important to do. And yeah, just go through the spell. I mean, just take 5 minutes, look through these, read them, which ones seem important to put on. Or if you don't know, maybe look up someone else's. I know Skillcapped has a really good like package of add-ons. They have probably a better Omnibar than I do, not gonna lie, but just so you know what it is. Oh geez, my thing crashed. Nice. Looks like my game crashed. Don't have too many add-ons, guys. Like it just like crashes my entire computer, man. All right, 2 seconds here, and we'll be back. The next add-on on there is OmniCD. So OmniCD is what shows all the add-ons next to the nameplates. So on the left side of my nameplates, it shows like, does my mage have ice block? Does he have cauterize? Does my shadow priest have his or offensive? You can put either offensive, defensive, mobility. So it's just like Omnibar, where you can just go through and select what you want to put in. I do recommend not bloating that because it gets a little bit crazy. So it might even overlap from one player to the other. But again, take a second and look through. And honestly, man, if you don't know all of the spells, it's actually a good source to just learn some of the spells that other classes have. So OmniCD here, you go into Arena, show 2 spells, and then you can just click on each person. You can look at what to do. So it even breaks it down which ones. It's obviously not the game, but interrupts, crowd controls, stuff like that. You can see if people have interrupts and stuff on your team. big cooldowns. So like Pillar Frost is important, Apocalypse is important. So just to see what they're doing, and Demon Hunters when they have their CCs, whatever you want. But like I said, it's actually kind of nice to go through and read these, what they do, if you are unsure what the abilities do in the first place. But that is OmniCD. Next one here. Premade group filter. This is kind of cool. I know I get a ton of questions on it. It has a ton of errors still, but it's better than nothing. So what it does is it sorts the LFG by the rating. So if I like type in 3v3, it'll sort them. Usually it does sort them, but even if it doesn't sort them, it'll show you the rating of the leader on there. So you can kind of, instead of having to like hover over each one, you can actually just see it. So it's kind of nice to see that. Usually it does sort. Sometimes usually it sorts, but like, yeah, okay. So like here we have the purple ones are over 2100, the blue ones are in the I guess 1800 to 21 range, and then the green are lower, and then the grayed out ones are the lowest ones. So kind of cool add-on to have. A lot of questions on that one. Quartz is my casting bar, so that's why it looks like that. The settings for Quartz, I don't really know what I did. I'll just show you what I have though. I disabled all the other ones. This is what mine looks like. I'll just kind of little scroll, and you can pause it if you want to copy any of this stuff. So there you go. That's Quartz. All right, Reflex. So Reflex is a arena tracking add-on, so you can see all your past games, what time you did them, what day you did them. You can click on click, hold shift down and see who you were playing with, who you were playing against. You can sort it by solo shuffle 2s, 3s, sort it by the day, sort it by the spec. Really cool add-on to have. I do know that you can't really download this off the CurseForge app. You have to download it on a website. I have a command for it, !reflex in my Twitch chat if you do want to find the link that I downloaded from. And honestly, I haven't updated it in many years, so it still works. Okay, sArena. So sArena is the PvP frames. And I have the Zaryu layout. So if you click on layout, I have the Zaryu layout. And I honestly don't think I did anything. I just moved it. Maybe I made it a little bit bigger. But this is what mine looks like. These are the settings. So if you want to copy them, I'll click through all these really quickly if you want to pause and look through them, what they are. Bada boom. Nice. All right, next one here, we got TellMeWhen. So TellMeWhen is like a kind of a, oops, that's WeakAuras. Kind of like a WeakAuras. It's kind of like an easier version of WeakAuras. So the only thing I really use for this, sometimes I use some buffs. Like if I want to track a buff, I do that. But you can always find a WeakAuras that probably does it a little bit better. The one that I didn't have a WeakAuras for that I actually really like is this Prowl Reactive TellMeWhen. It's like the main reason I have this add-on. So I made a new icon, I made it reactive. What that does is when I'm out of combat, it'll pop up. So you see the icon there. If I get in combat here, the icon goes away. And then when I'm looking for a drink or something, that's how I know I'm out of combat. So I'm going behind the pillar, I'm waiting. I see that, I can know I can drink. Or I can go in stealth and get a re-stealth. So that's the main reason why I use it. But it is like a dummy down WeakAuras. So if you don't like the complexity of WeakAuras, you can do them and they're pretty easy to use. Like if I do track anything, like literally you just type buff debuff, type it in. I usually select timer text, and that's it. So that's really what I use it for, tracking things. You can track any buff that you have up here or any debuff that's on you, stuff like that. Okay, next add-on we got is TrufiGCD. So all that does is just for streaming purposes. It shows you the buttons that I'm pressing. If you do stream yourself, I highly recommend this one. It's really, I don't know how, I can't really watch streams without that anymore. I'm watching like Cataclysm Classic for example. I'm like, what buttons are they pressing? I don't even know. But that's just so you can see the buttons that I have there. Alrighty, all right. Next one we have, the most important one here, Uber UI. The Uber UI is what just makes my UI look black. Okay, that is the most asked add-on. What it is, This is what I have. I just turned the darkness level all the way. You can kind of make it a little bit lighter versus darker. My health bars are smooth. You can change it whoever you like. This is kind of the raid bar textures are the same. Going to end up being the same as well. You can put arena nameplate numbers. I hide the hotkeys. This was like the biggest thing that makes your UI look smooth. You see all the numbers on my buttons. Hides them all. Really, really nice to have. And yeah, that's all really there is to this. You change. I have all this stuff selected. I don't know. Alrighty, and finally we got WeakAuras. So WeakAuras, I'm gonna just let you know. Like I said, I'm not gonna link all these in the video, but I do have, because I pretty much have all of these on my Twitch chat. So if you just go into my Twitch chat, even if I'm offline, you type an exclamation point, whatever, you will find the link to these things. Okay. So the first one is stats. This just shows my stats over here on the side. It's a live update. So if you get a buff, it'll change. Like PI, it'll change instantly. Exclamation point stats in my thing. APMs. This is just the reason it's actually kind of neat to see because it's your APMs that you're pressing. It's kind of neat to see because like when I'm having a good day, like my fingers are just moving, you'll see I'll notice my APMs are a bit faster versus slower. But it was more just a fun add-on, and that's exclamation point APM. Shadow Covenant. So this shows my Shadow Covenant bar when I'm playing Disc Priest. People always ask about that one. Exclamation point Shadow Cov. SHADOWCOV. That's that for that. Chrono Loop, you don't really need this anymore. This is what I used to have because it was super important to realize when people had Chrono Loop on, so I would dispel it. Don't have the link to this one. Yeah. So there's some of these that I don't have links to because literally what I ended up doing was just copy pasting. Like, so I think it was pasted off the Death Mark one, where I copied it just a Death Mark trigger because I don't know how to use all these, and all I did was just change the trigger to a different spell. So I can't really link all these, but I mean, just look up a tracking one. You're gonna look up Death Mark alert, and then just change it. That's what I did, and I just been copying pasting ever since. So I don't have links to all of those. Like Dark Sim was the exact same thing. Actually, Dark Sim I might have looked up. But like if you guys don't know the WeakAuras, because I can't tell if like this is the right, yeah, there's no URL there. If you don't know to find a WeakAura, just go to this website Wago and just type in what you want, like Dark Simulacrum, and like this is what I have. Like people like get so like worked up like trying to find my WeakAura. Dude, just go to the website and look it up. Like you'll find it. This is exactly what I did. That's how I found these WeakAuras. I just look them up. Okay, drinking. This one I did have to look up. I don't know if I have this one on there or not. Well, this is the URL if you want to just type it in. You can pause the video and type that in. Fixed totem frame. So this is a WeakAura that I used for the treants. So this is what you have to, for some reason you have to have this WeakAura. So I have this whole link is in my command in my Twitch chat, exclamation point treants. So if I'm in combat here and I have all of my trees up and I really want to get out of combat at this point to drink, I made it a bind. There is a macro combined with a WeakAura, and that is both of those are in that command. I just press the button and they're all gone, and now I can drink. So to drop combat, drink. Okay. So that's what that WeakAura does. Heart of the Wild, this one just shows the proc. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even look at this. I really should get rid of it. But yeah, I don't even bother with the link. This is the Elder Druid, basically. So the 1 minute cooldown reset shows you when you have it. I typically just look at the debuff, I'm not gonna lie. Life Bloom one, this one is obviously one of the most asked for. This one is exclamation point Life Bloom. Just so you do know, I think I did change one thing on this because of the bloom timer. Where is it? Gotta be in here somewhere. Is it a display? I think it was a display. I don't remember. Man, I don't know WeakAuras at all, man. I'm sorry, guys. Basically, what I did. Oh, look, here is definitely this. It's okay. So if you go to conditions and glow, I made it 4 seconds. I think it's baseline 5 seconds for some reason. The reason that it does that you want to know that is because of how Life Bloom works. So Life Bloom, if you refresh it within the last 4 seconds, so if I Life Bloom here, if you Life Bloom within the last 4 seconds, it will bloom without dropping your focus growth stacks. So it's not as important in PvE because you don't have this talent, but in PvP you do. So you see it's hit 4, it glows. So if I press it, I also get the bloom. So I hit, you see like a 196 there. So you get the bloom as well. So it just knows you, it basically gives you a reminder it's glowing, I need to refresh it. Kind of reminder, and it just shows the stacks, which is the most important part of it. So you don't have to click on them and look. I don't know why that's not in the base UI, but it's what it is. Lone Tar group. I think I just got this for the muddle, or whatever it's called. The Infurious crafted gear that shows like that buff. I don't even use this anymore, so I don't have a link to it, unfortunately, but Lone Tar probably has a link to it. Convoke, so this one's exclamation point Convoke in my chat. This one just shows the buttons that are being triggered from Convoke. So if I press Convoke, just cool little thing to see, like how many, I think I hit this dummy, didn't I? Okay, I'm good. It just shows the abilities that are casted during the Convoke. Just a cool little fun add-on to have on there, especially for streaming. Precog, exclamation point Precog in my chat. This just shows when you have Precog up. PvPQ, I don't have a link to this one, but you could just probably just look it up. PvPQ on that website. Just shows the queue time up here. Ray of Hope. This was one if we do play Holy Priest. It's kind of a neat one. I don't really play Holy Priest anymore, so unfortunately I don't have a link for it. But again, you can just Google it. It shows like I'll show you. Here's the link right here if you just want to copy that in there. When it's positive of a Ray of Hope, you'll see how positive it is. So like instead of just seeing the colors, green or yellow or red, whatever the colors are, it shows you like, oh, you're 300k in the green, so it's going to be a 300k heal, or vice versa in the red. Reforestation, so this is the Tree of Life, just tracks reforestation. So when you press Life Bloom, or sorry, Swiftmend, it'll give you 1 stack, it'll show the stack there, and then when it'll show the duration of the Tree of Life. Again, I apologize, I don't have a link for this one on here, but this is the link for it. You can just type in Reforestation plus Tree of Life tracker, and I'm sure it'll come up there. These are the exact names from the WAGO website. Starship, I was messing around with something with this. This is not really needed. All right, this one is important. This is the GCD tracker, WeakAuras. So what this does, this is exclamation point GCD in my Twitch chat. On your enemy nameplates, so if this is my enemy, you'll see it'll show every button that they are pressing here. The reason this is important because you could see them press certain CCs and cooldowns. Specifically, trap and scatter I use it for. So if I'm trying to death a trap or death a scatter or trinket, I keep distance and I'll keep an eye out for this icon and see what they're pressing. It's nice to just see what buttons that the other teams are pressing, especially in cooldown rides. T Nameplate. This person makes good WeakAuras. Both of these are super useful here. This is the totem WeakAuras. So instead of showing the totem, just the nameplate of it with the name, it shows the icon of it and it's like flashing. So that is exclamation point totems with an S at the end. That shows all the totem nameplates, really nice to have. And then what else we got? Temporal compression. This was another one I just kind of took off of a Mind Games thing and I just changed the name. This is something I use for temporal compression charges on preservation. Don't really use it anymore. And these are some other ones I just kind of ripped off of yeah, I made them up myself. Ancient Teachings. By the way, guys, if you need to make a WeakAuras, and like this is me not knowing WeakAuras at all, just press new aura. For the most part, you could just do progress texture. Click this to choose what you want it to look like. This is whole big list of stuff, and then press trigger and type in name. And like that's like the most basic way to make a WeakAuras if you do know nothing about them. So you can do that. And then the other one I use that you might see on my stream is the eclipses. So when I'm playing Boomy, you'll see the eclipses on both sides. That's exclamation point eclipse. Just shows like how many wraths you need to do or how many starfires you need to do to trigger the next eclipse. And I think that's it. Yeah, I have some other ones here. I guess hover tracker for preservation or just evoker in general. Again, all of these you can just look up. I really recommend you explore your own options because sometimes there's better WeakAuras than I have or than the person that you're watching has. But that's what I have. Hope you guys found what you're looking for on here. This is a resource I'm sure I'll have up here for years. So thank you guys so much. If you do have questions, let me know in the comments. I'll get back to you on that. And have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Peace out.